What is up, everybody? It is your girl Lulu, and listen, you guys, we have a special guest with me and with us today, Miss Pia.
Hi guys, my name is Pia Nabila Nedjar. I'm a North African cat mom, 41 years old. I was born and raised in Constantine, Algeria in North Africa, and Jackson adopted me in 2017, and I've been here training since then. I am initially a doctor of pharmacy, and I switched to the fitness industry. I'm now a personal trainer, nutrition coach, bodybuilding coach, and I am an athlete with the International Federation of Bodybuilding.
And listen, we have a great video in store for you guys, and I cannot wait till you guys hear this. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Hi, Pia.
Hi.
Oh my God, it's so good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Listen, it is such an honor for me to have you because, oh my goodness, I have looked up to you for so long.
Oh.
And oh my goodness, like you have a major impact on my career. If it wasn't for you,
Thank you, boo.
I don't know where I'd be. So we're gonna dive straight into it.
Mm-hmm.
First question that I will have for you is, what made you want to become a fitness coach, and how did you get started?
So I was born and raised in North Africa, and I studied pharmacy. So I'm a doctor of pharmacy, and that's what I started doing. I started working in the pharmaceutical industry, and then I happened to work with a lab that made insulin, huge international lab, and I was a medical representative for them. And I saw how they were pushing us to push the sales for insulin, but never really focused on the part where, hey, you can avoid the type 2 diabetes by changing the way that you eat, by moving a little bit more. So even though, of course, insulin is absolutely necessary and it's an amazing invention for people who need it, but there are a lot of things that are preventable with just a good lifestyle. So while I was still working for the lab, I started training friends, people. You got to know that where I'm from, type 2 diabetes is not as prevalent as in the United States because we have different ways of eating. We eat a lot more whole foods, although it's changing now and it's become a little bit like the West. But I started doing it for family, for friends, and then independently from the people with pre-diabetes, I just started gathering with people at the park, having groups, especially of women, to run together. And I had a history of track before, so I was just training groups of people for fun, for free. It never occurred to me that it could actually be a career, that I could actually make money from that. But people started asking me, do you want me to train you? And I was like, me? And I started charging for that slowly. And then when I moved to the United States after a career in sales in different big companies, when I moved to the States, I was like, I don't want to do sales anymore. I want to do personal training. And I remember at the time people told me, no, this is the US, you have to have 2 or 3 jobs.
Right.
But I was like, if I have 2 or 3 jobs, I'm not going to have the availability to train people full time. So I decided I'm not doing that. I'm just going to believe in it.
Yeah.
And I started training people in August of 2018, personal training. And I would say by October, I could at least pay my bills doing that. And then from that, it became a career, and it's going to be 9 years here in the U.S., but in total, my God, about 2 decades doing it.
Oh my goodness. That is so good. Like, you just never know the backstory of where a fitness professional, how it starts. Because everybody has a story. Everybody has this story. You never know what someone went through.
And people tell you you're crazy. How do you leave a corporate career with the equivalent of a 6-figure salary to it? But when you wake up in the morning and and you're like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? All these meetings, all these calls, and I have to be dressed in a suit all the time, in heels, and my makeup every day. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to have fun, and I want to do something that I can see the results of every day, day to day, meet people, do that with people, be able to be funny like I want to be funny, be myself instead of pretending to be somebody else for some imaginary big corporate boss.
That kind of reminds me of what my saying used to be when I used to work at Walmart. I used to work at Walmart, and when I was a manager there, and I used to always say I wanted to choose my own hard, because working for other people and making them so much money, they don't even know you, and but that just definitely segues into my next question for you. When you first started training clients, what was the biggest challenge you had to overcome?
Back home, it wasn't hard because the nutrition wasn't bad. We do not have, at least at the time, did not have such a high rate of overweight and obesity as we do here in the United States, and particularly in Mississippi. So when I first moved here, I could immediately tell by just going to the grocery store that it was different. The packs of chips were huge, the drinks were huge. You could buy a big box of cookies. These are things that we don't have back home. You'll have a 6 cookies together. We don't have the king size stuff. Everything is smaller. The chips are this size. You do not have the family packs, who are a lot of times not family packs. They're for, one person. So my biggest problem was food here, the eating habits, and the fact that the food industry puts molecules in the food that literally make you an addict to those foods. In cheese and those processed cookies and chips, it's literally a food addiction. So that was my first big challenge. It's not just about telling people, you gotta eat better. No, it's almost psychological, because you have to get rid of that addiction first. Figure out why are people eating that food, what type of void they're feeling. And sometimes it's not your scope of practice. It's a lot of people that need therapy to figure out their relationship with food, because it's not the food. There's something that's underlying behind it you gotta figure out. The second thing is the sedentary lifestyle. The jobs are very sedentary, but again, people have 2-3 jobs here, so sometimes they go from a job where they sit to another one where they sit. Where I'm from, when you get off from your job, you're outside. You are walking to your house. A lot of times it's a big city where you don't really need a car. You might use public transportation. It's not the same here. You need a car. So you leave your job, you're in a car. There are options for drive-thrus everywhere. You can order your food. You can, you do not have to move at all. A lot of people just literally do not walk anymore. So that was the second thing, to just get people to say, instead of going to the drive-thru, at least I'm gonna park my car a little bit further and do that. So to have to get people to just walk, to me, was a very big adjustment, but it happened.
I think especially here in Mississippi, like with Mississippi being for so long the most obese state, and even when you travel to other cities or other states like Chicago, Illinois, like that's a walking city.
People walk more.
So especially here in Mississippi. When talking to a brand new client, what are the first 3 fitness basics you teach them?
I would say first is to figure out a reason for why you're starting your transformation. What brought you here? I always ask them, how can I help you? That's one of the first questions that I ask in a consultation. I want to know how I can help you, so I can figure out whether your why is going to be permanent or has the potential to evolve, or are you doing it for the wrong reasons? I've had, especially in the beginning of my career where I trained younger girls, I've had girls who would come to tell me that they just wanted to come because they wanted to make some man mad. It's very important to decenter your goals from other people, and ladies, to decenter your goals from men. A man that loves you does not use your looks against you. If anything, he's gonna help you, support you in whatever transformation you wanna do, as long as it's, of course, reasonable. So that's the first thing. What is pushing you to come here? Is it health? Is it your looks, which a lot of times are related to health? Is it, that lack of confidence? You're not comfortable in your body anymore? What is it? Is it your relationship with food? These are goals that you can follow that will evolve. You might come to me to lose weight, but your relationship to your body, you have it figured out. You like your body. You like what it is able to do. So I've gotten to losing weight. Now I'm seeing some muscle come, my arms, my legs. Now I want a little bit more. And I think that's what happened with you. You just wanted to gain weight at first. But once you saw that there was a potential for muscles to actually look a certain way, now you want to sculpt it. You want to focus on the muscles here and there. And I do remember with you too, in the beginning, you weren't sure why. Not to put your business out there, but I think it's fine, and you've talked about it. I think that at first, and you're a great example of that, your reason to come was not clear. Your reason was not personal. It was a lot about how people were going to perceive you. You wanted the body that those baddies on Instagram have, that a lot of times have surgery, have a lot of things done. And you got the booty, but you also got the gut.
Yeah.
So you had to work on that. And I think that it clicked with you the second that you said, okay, I want to be comfortable with the type of body that I am comfortable in, no matter how other people view me. They can view me as too small, too muscular, too whatever they want to. I'm the one in the end of the day that goes to bed in this body, and that's what I want to do for me. So that's what I tell them first. What is your why? And I try to judge whether it's, you know, a realistic one and one that's sustainable. The second advice that I give them is to not make it complicated. Start easy and don't have too ambitious goals. If you are 300 pounds and trying to lose weight, don't worry about tracking how much protein you're getting and how much carbs. And start with drinking less sodas. That's already a great win because it's an addiction. Start replacing a burger with a salad in the day. Maybe the rest of the meals you're still having a burger. Start small, because sometimes when we have these big goals, it becomes overwhelming. When you have your entire life eating badly, you can't think about, okay, now I'm going to track my food, I'm going to log all my food, I'm going to get 40% protein, I'm going to start slow. Just start with something. The third piece of advice, again for weight loss, walk. If you're not going to do anything, walk. And again, it does not have to be ambitious. Ideally, a 30-minute walk a day is awesome, but 5 minutes is a great start. 10 minutes is a great start. You don't have to go fast, just walk, start it. And people have to realize how these little efforts add up, and how when you do 5 minutes, it's manageable. When you think, or when you have this goal of doing 30, you might be like, I can't do 30, so you just sit and don't do it at all. So start with a walk. So what is your why? Don't complicate things and walk.
Yeah. Do y'all see why she my mentor? Because baby, sometimes even the leaders, sometimes we need somebody that's gonna help us and hold us accountable. And when I tell y'all, this woman here has held me accountable, and I'm so thankful. Have some type of people in your corner that's gonna tell you about yourself. Okay, so I think we've already kind of touched on this, but I want you to explain just a little bit more when it comes to how do you explain nutrition to someone who has never tracked food or exercised before?
So I go over the food groups, tell them what a protein is, what carbs are, what veggies, fiber, fats are. I explain what calories are, why when we say a meal is too dense but not rich in nutrients, that's different from having a whole salad, meat, fruit. I can have a whole table of foods that are whole foods, that are healthy foods, that will represent 2,000 calories. And I can have a plate, very small plate, with a burger and some fries that will also be 2,000 calories. So teach people that when you say, you know, I don't really eat much, I don't have an appetite, I just eat once a day, because you ate 2,000 calories in one sitting.
It's the biggest thing.
And the whole table of whole foods is something that you can space out throughout the day, and it represents the same thing. So to explain to them, because we always hear calorie, we don't really explain what it is. I do that. I tell them that tracking, logging your food and all that is absolutely not necessary. I think what you have to do at first is, what is the extent of the issue right now? You diagnose it. You sit down. What I start with a lot of my people in consultation, and people can do it with themselves at home. Now we have AI, so you can write down what you ate the entire day. Just write it down. I usually do it for 2 or 3 days with clients. We write it down and we see, okay, how many calories did you eat Tuesday? How many did you eat Wednesday? How many did you eat Thursday? So that we can get an average of what they are currently eating, so that they see that their idea that they're not eating much is false most of the time. I've had people I've done this with who turned out to be eating 6,000 or 7,000 calories a day, thinking I'm not eating much. There's one thing that I tell people: you're not 300 pounds not eating too much.
Right.
If you eat 300 pounds, it's because you eat all day. So you got to stop with that. So I think it's very important to be sincere with yourself and stop lying to yourself. because that is a lie, whether it's conscious or not. You're lying to yourself. You're saying I'm eating. I start asking questions. Well, I have oats in the morning and 3 eggs and turkey, bacon. That sounds great. But you know that when you got home, you snapped and you ordered some food. When Miss Shirley brought some potato pie to the office, you ate it. When you went to the kids for their lunch, there was food there. You don't count the meals that you do not sit down to eat.
Right.
You only count those that you actually sat at the table. When you go to the gas station, you get drinks, and drinks are an incredible source of calories. A lot of people do not count that, but can consume 2,000 calories just in Coke and Sprite. And
Wow.
yeah, so be sincere with yourself first if it's gonna work. If you are denying that you eat a lot, it's gonna be very hard to convince you that you can eat better.
Yeah.
Because you don't see a problem with what you're doing. So I can't help you. We're not admitting to it.
Yeah.
So yes, the first thing to do is write down what you're eating. Take it to AI and say, hey, how many calories is in this? That way you don't even have to go to those apps. And the AI will tell you that you eat too damn much.
Right. But I think sometimes it gets a little hard for personal trainers sometimes, because it's like we're the professional, and it's not like we're trying to throw our weight around, but it's like you came to me for a reason, and I'm trying to help you pinpoint the issue, but you're still in denial. I think that kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier, that especially here in the United States, this is more of a psychological thing. And I think more people need to go back to therapy because it's an issue.
It does help because food disorders, food disorders are a thing. Depression is a thing. I mean, it's a rough life that you have to live in capitalism, where you have to. A lot of people just run all day just to barely pay bills. So I can understand that at some point you want to reward yourself when you get home with something sweet, with something tasty. I get that, but it's very hard as a trainer to let people know sometimes this is beyond my scope of practice. And trainers have to learn to do that. I have had people who I've trained, and I've admitted to them and sat them at their last session and said, hey, look, I can't do any more for you. Your problems are not training issues.
Right.
Training is easy for you. Your problem is that you have to go and figure out what it is. So the money that you're giving to me, take it to a nutrition clinic or some type of, and take care of that first. And it's worked. There's this lady, it's an amazing transformation, who I couldn't manage to get anything from her because it wasn't the problem. She just had such a busy life, grief from losing family members and all, and food was the only thing that gave her joy. And I stopped training her, and she went to a weight loss clinic, or like a food disorder clinic, something like that. And she came back one day to the gym I used to work at, thin, completely thin. So yeah, I was very proud of that.
What are the biggest nutrition mistakes you see beginners make?
Believing that there is a miracle or miracle foods for weight loss. Believing in those trends. Believing that supplements is what helps you lose weight. Believing that you're a bodybuilder and following the things for, it's true.
Right.
At some point before bodybuilding became so accessible to people thanks to social media, and I think it's a good thing to see it. Bodybuilding is an extreme sport. Bodybuilders do not claim to be the healthiest, because having to go through that yo-yo up and down is not the best thing. That's why a lot of bodybuilding careers are short. People thinking that I have to do 6 meals a day. I have to go through a bulk phase and a cut phase. If I do too much cardio, I'm gonna lose my muscles. That's for bodybuilders. That's people who, when they get closer to a show, are eating 13, 14, 1,200, 1,000 calories sometimes, especially if the coach is bad. It shouldn't get that low, but sometimes it does. When you're eating that much, you need your meals to be spaced out, because otherwise you starve in between. It just holds you over to the next meal. You cannot do too much cardio because you literally just have enough calories to maintain the muscle that you built. Any extra effort will eat up your own muscle. So when you are 300 pounds trying to lose weight, that's not something you need to worry about. And the workouts the bodybuilders are doing, or any type of elite athlete, are 2, 3, 6 hours a day sometimes. 30 minutes with a personal trainer is not gonna mess up your day.
Right.
It's the bare minimum. So all those, I think it's a big mistake when, again, people get too ambitious. Try to follow things that are not for them. And then end up getting overwhelmed and losing track of what they started to do in the first place. And this reminds me of what I actually wanted to tell you before. I get people in consultation that tell me, okay, so this, I'm not, I'm trying to lose weight. But one time I did something that worked for me. I did a keto diet and it worked for me. Or I did, I don't know, whatever fad, whatever. If it worked for you, why are you here now?
Why?
The only things that work on the long run are things that are sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Keto diets are not for everybody. Keto diets were created for a very specific goal. It was, I believe, kids with epilepsy. The doctors saw that when they were on a keto diet, their seizures did not happen that often. Some people use it for extreme weight loss. That works. But it's not something to use on the long run, because it will damage your organs. To have that much fat in your organs and not enough carbs, not even veggies, will damage you. And it didn't work for you if you gain the weight back. Nothing works if it is something that you did for 3 months, and then if you cannot stick to it on the long run, it did not work.
Right.
What works is things that fit your lifestyle, a number of meals that fits your lifestyle, the type of foods that live where you live, how you cook. Of course, you have to change, switch up things, so you don't fry anymore, you don't use as much sodium, but it's things, changes that you implement in your life bit by bit.
Right.
You don't do it at once. It doesn't work. With some clients that are new with me, we don't even tackle the nutrition at first. We'll just work out. I want you to start being able to schedule your sessions in your mind, so that you're not late anymore, so that you put them really on the map in your day and say, okay, I have 3 sessions a week. Get used to that first.
Yeah.
And while we training, we will talk about nutrition. 2-3 weeks later, we will actually do a plan, which I call more nutritional advice than an actual plan. Nobody wants to spend their life weighing their food and measuring. I do give measurements in the beginning because I want you to have a visual memory of what your plate should look like, of the amounts. Because imagine somebody eating too much since childhood. They don't know what a normal plate should look like. So at first I do tell them 4 ounces, 6 ounces a cup, so that we see how it looks like. But then afterwards, you're not supposed to stay on a plan. It's intuitive eating, like our grandparents did, and never got fat.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree, because, man, I always tell my people, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. And I definitely don't believe in all the ketos and all the water diets, the watermelon diets, the who say diet. I don't, baby, just get you a good nutrition plan, and follow it.
She said,
How do you help clients stay consistent when they lose motivation?
So I think they should rely on discipline more than motivation. We do that every day with everything that we do. Not everybody likes their job. And the only reason that they go is because they gotta go. There's a discipline in waking up in the morning. There's a discipline in showing up to work, dressing a certain way, talking a certain way, hiding your personality in some job. You do that because that's what you're supposed to do. You have your children have to be picked up at a certain time. You don't always want to do it, but you're disciplined enough to do it. It's the same thing with the changes that you want to implement in your life until they become the norm to you. But if you're going for a weight loss program, if the reason that you went, that's why I was talking earlier about what is your why. If the reason to your weight loss is valuable enough, you need to go back to it every time. Why did I start all this? I'm sore, I'm tired, but I started it for a reason. I'm tired of my knees hurting. I'm tired of not wanting to look at myself in the mirror. I'm tired of ordering clothes for them to always fit not like the way I like them. I'm tired of trying to have sex and I can't because I'm out of breath. Disclaimer, I'm all for body positivity. I think that you really have to learn to be comfortable in whatever body you're in, and definitely disregard what people can think of how you look. However, if that beautiful body that you have and that you like regardless of how it looks, if it is causing you to physically feel sick, you got to do something about it while you're loving it. Love it enough to change it while you like how it looks from the outside. You cannot let your body go through life with sore knees, a sore back, with you going out of breath. Isn't that enough motivation? Isn't it enough motivation to, especially for the people who do not like how they look, isn't it enough motivation to avoid mirrors everywhere you go, or avoid pictures? It is so joyful to be able to just walk around, either work with your relationship with your body, and you got to do that at all stages, or if you haven't managed to do that, fix what is hurting you, fix what is making you sad every day, to live in a body that you do not believe is doing everything that it was designed to do. I think that's enough motivation to not feel ill.
If you could give every beginner only one piece of fitness advice, what would it be and why?
I'll go back to the first one, and because we are in Mississippi, most of the issues are weight. Walk. Walk, because it doesn't just control or help control the weight, puts you in a better mood mentally. That might affect the way that you view eating healthier, the way that you view exercising. It also makes you see that you can actually do hard things. For some people, a 5-minute walk is very hard. So when they do 10 minutes, they're extremely proud of themselves. So that self-efficacy goes up. When you can trust yourself to do something that you said you would do, it increases your confidence to do other things. The being outside, getting some vitamin D, breathing some air, seeing nature, maybe walking in grass, seeing the trees, all these basic things we've gotten away from, we've gotten far from, and we are human beings, we are animals that need to be closer to the basic tasks that we were designed to perform. And the most basic task that we were designed to perform is to walk. So get back to that primitive well-being that comes from just walking, and a lot of things stem from that, and that's without mentioning all the benefits for your heart, your kidney function, your lungs. Walk. That's the best fitness advice. It's counterproductive of what I do, because I should tell them get a trainer, but it's really not get a trainer. Walk. If I have one piece of advice, walk. It will even make you eat better.
That's so good, y'all. Oh my goodness, I'm so thankful for Miss Pia to be here today, you guys. And listen, remember, walk. You don't know what to do, go outside or even on a treadmill or whatever. Just start and walk.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
10 minutes the next day.
And just keep increasing. And then you're going to start falling in love. You're going to start seeing results. And then maybe after that, you can get a personal trainer. But yes, thank you guys so much for joining me today. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.